Hey everybody, and welcome back to the 2014 Insight Innovation Exchange, brought to you by Green Book and Gen 2 Advisors, proudly sponsored by Research Now. My name is Ben Smithy. I am CEO of Spike Market Analytics, and I have the pleasure of sitting down now with Ms. Diane Bowers, who is the president of CASRO. Diane, thanks so much for taking the time to be here with us today.
Absolutely.
So, Insight Innovation Exchange, what do you think that this particular event means for our industry that both of us love so much?
I think it's the opportunity for companies who are traditional in the industry, been around a long time, to meet with companies, some of whom may not even know that they're in the research industry. But there's a welcoming feel, there's a lot of networking that, to me, is asking questions and being open to any kind of answer. And I think that's a great opportunity for all of us.
Absolutely. How does stuff like this fit in with what you're tasked with and what CASRO does as an organization?
Well, CASRO is the association that represents research businesses in the United States. And research businesses here in the #1 research industry in the world are on the cutting edge, the leading edge of how the industry is changing. So CASRO can't be behind the curve, we must be at least with the curve or ahead of the curve. And I think IIeX gives us an opportunity to be ahead of the curve.
And I love that you guys are here because you talked about the collaboration. We've heard a lot about synthesis and aggregation and, you know, the proverbial synergy and all of that. And I think that having CASRO as part of this conference is very, very representative of that. What are some of the things that, you know, I know you've been representing CASRO, but also checking out some of the different things. What have you seen that really caught your eye and things that make you say, wow, this is really starting to change and shift the industry?
I think it's not just technology. I think it's a way of looking at how we can collect information and use it in different ways. And to me, the best and most talented individuals and companies that can do that are within the research industry and now coming into the industry from not just technology, but new ways of looking at how to use data and collect it.
Absolutely. You got your scientists and your psychologists and your behavioral economics folks. And
yeah, and people who don't even, you know, it's the social sciences, it's the hard sciences, it's business, it's math, it's all of those things. But to me, what I see a lot of focus on now are the softer sciences, the sociology, psychology, mixed with technology.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
It's an interesting time. Let's talk about the individual for a second. So I know you've also been doing a lot of work with the universities and the MSMR programs, and you know they're really working hard right now to cultivate and curate and engage and really attract top-level talent to come into the research industry. You know, the quote-unquote research industry, as we know, it's the definition has evolved. But we look at the hard skills, the analytics and things, but what are the soft skills? What is the persona? What is the personality? Who is the future researcher of tomorrow that's going to be successful?
Well, I think it's in some ways, I think the MSMR programs have been focused on the science, the business of research. And what I'm seeing now is a bit of a shift into the softer sciences with psych and sociology, anthropology.
Absolutely.
And so what I think it's doing is it's allowing us to kind of refocus on who we're talking to. So it's not just what we are doing to people, but it's what people are doing for us. And it's sort of a reverse. And I think we've gotten away from that, and now we're coming back around.
Is there anything that you see as like a characteristic or a trait that represents, this is the ideal person that's going to take us into the future, these types of thought patterns or mentalities?
I guess it's people who are not focused on ego. They're focused on the person they're talking to, empathy. It is sympathy as well, but empathy, the ability to say, okay, what would I be doing, or how would I feel if I were sitting across from me rather than sitting in my seat. So I think that's going to be critical in the future, because right now everything is just data. We talk about big data. Let's talk about the people who provide that data.
Yeah, data can be somewhat cold at times, so
yeah,
that warmth of the persona to warm it up.
Yeah,
that's
I
great.
agree.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us today.
You're welcome.
And thanks for representing CASRO here at the conference.
Thank you. Enjoyed it.
All right, you heard it here first at the 2014 Insight Innovation Exchange. My name is Ben Smithy, and you just heard from Diane Bowers, president of CASRO. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.